God moved really fast in front of us. Oh my God. Next up, Louis. Hey, look! Now my turn! Stephanie, should have said. Okay, let's I can film that bird attacking them kids.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes, Tycho.
I'm actually
Shimmy!
take a video of all of
My boobs are knocked into pieces.